Guys, let's continue with the presentation of the RadCORE project. Well, I'm going to eliminate the components that we left on the screen from our last video, and I'm going to add that again the components are composed of model creation, right, of creation, right, of a possible dashboard. Okay, well. You are observing here at project time that I have here nothing more than container panels from UNIGUI itself, labels. As you can see, they are all labels from UNIGUI itself, that is, reinforcing what I said from the beginning, that RadCORE is not a new switch. Of components. So, RadCORE was thought out completely out of the box, because, as I said before, I wanted something that would be 100% reused by those who already use UNIGUI or those who don't know UNIGUI yet. Following the idea of RadCORE users, there are already some cases of users, thank this good God. In these 4 years of the RadCORE project, there are dozens and dozens of projects already developed in Brazil and abroad. And some of these users who have never had contact with UNIGUI or who have never had contact with anything about the web and managed, due to the ease of use of RadCORE, to create their applications. Obviously, I also can't help but mention that we've also had users who have given up on the project. I think every project, every tool, sometimes it doesn't fit everyone, okay? So that's why there are people who defend a DELPHI, there are people who detonate DELPHI, right? Who doesn't like DELPHI? Just like there are people who like football A and there are people who like football B, and they keep blasting each other. So, not everyone can suddenly get along with RadCORE as well as other frameworks. Just as I have several users who came from other frameworks or who came from other web languages and developed much more easily, and this was told to me in private, they developed much more easily because of these facilities that RadCORE has. What facilities then, what other facilities, given the ones we've already seen, that we're going to have to develop with RadCORE? Just so we can remind you of our template here, let me update. Let me just compile our app here again. And then we've got here is I don't think I compiled it. And now yes, so we have here such the example in design time such. Let me pull here the DELPHI. We have our container panels and you see that they are normal, by default they are square, and we have the labels that are icons, which when rendered in RadCORE. You see here the rounded pans, the icons are also being presented in the correct way, and if we enter here in mobile, let's observe here something that you will already see. The icons disappeared when I entered mobile, so you see here the levels that were defined. Now they're back, but when I go on mobile the icons disappear. What's that? This here was just a demonstrative factor. Let's understand then people how it works in practice is the process of using RadCORE to create these components here and these effects that you are seeing. Okay, so nothing else is the everything that we are having here. Oh, nothing else is the that components are nothing more than excuse, nothing more than native components. Okay, so I have here, a single container panel. The only container panel is with the application of the calls attribute that we have already seen in the first videos, where I determine that on the smaller screens it will have 12 columns. On tablet screens there will be 6 columns, and on medium screens 6 columns, and on larger screens 3 columns. So here we're going to have 3 levels of responsiveness reaction. So there's going to be a screen that will have 1 block of this per line, there's going to be a screen that will have 2 blocks per line, and there's going to be a screen that will have all 4 blocks in a row. Simply, just that brought this whole rule. I didn't need to resort to divs, nothing else, just a hardcore instruction, okay? Now, we've got our rounded panels there. Is it possible to do this with standard UNIGUI? Of course it is, you're just going to resort to CSS, but look, let's do a quick comparison. What's easier? Do I have to create a CSS class and apply that class to the objects I want, or just use a statement like this, roundall? It's that simple. So I just need to write in a container the round all statement that hardcore will automatically round my container. So I didn't need to apply CSS, I didn't need to know what this CSS was like, I didn't need any of that because hardcore will bring this to you ready, okay? It's going to bring this defined to you ready here in his default structure. So the round, let's go here to see the parameters that I have available. So I can round, that's all the options that I have to do my round. So I can round at all the edges, just at the bottom, just on the left. I can turn off the rounding on the right and at the top. So these are the parameters that I can use here in the round. So these are the facilities that hardcore brings to you using RC Elementes. Beauty. Now let's know that effect there of the icon that disappears in iMobile. I'm going to take my icon here and I'm going to trigger RC Elementes. So what is that I have in the RC elements of the icon that we saw even earlier, but I only commented on the echo attribute. We've got the ride attribute down here, so what is the ride? Ride is hiding. So I'm saying here for the hardcore that I want when the app is on mobile vertical that icon to be hidden. Imagine you do that in native CSS. Create this statement in native CSS, to say that a certain component is hidden only when I'm in mobile vertical. Guys, you don't have to look far. You're going to write a lot of CSS content and you have to understand that writing to be able to get that result. So, why does this instruction exist? Because there are layout situations where the developer wants a certain object on the screen to be available only on the desktop, or vice versa. I can have situations that should only appear on mobile, right? And I have situations that I just want to show up on desktop. So just like that, you have that freedom to work with these options. I'm going to look at my RAID parameters here. So I have desktop, disable, mobile, mobile H and mobile versus. When I use mobile, I'm saying mobile as a whole, both in vertical mode and in horizontal mode. Okay, so this is the basics. Okay, it's the basics of the facilitating features that hardcore brings to you. Okay, so I didn't need to do anything. I didn't need to put no event in my component, just I'm calling my RC elements so I can tell the core radio to render an icon for me on this label, and I want that label to be hidden when I'm on the mobile vertical. Okay, so let's compile here the application of New and just review the effect. Okay, so I have here, I'm going to activate here my mobile is total right, so I'm here in simulating an iPad sich and sich I'm going to simulate, I'm going to put here a Samsung sich and sich vertical right, I'm going to put it now horizontal, I'm going to rotate the device, the icons are back. Okay, I'm going to rotate the device back, the icons are gone, I'm going to go back to the desktop, the icons are back. Okay, so I don't need to give any instructions, the hardcore is in charge of doing this. Okay, guys, so based on this one instruction that you're seeing, here's the raid, we're going to having dozens and dozens. I don't want to risk that we already have today more than hundreds of instructions in hardcore to facilitate the creation of screens, the creation of layouts, very complex. And we'll see these examples as the new videos are released to you, okay? So that's it for this little demo, and we'll see you soon in the next video.